Right, shall we start? Today's tea mug, little cow's butts on it. My name is Lexi and this is Stitch Witch Lexi, my knitting podcast, where I talk about my knitting. Sometimes I crochet, I show off my yarn and finished objects, works in progress, all that. And sometimes I share some other little tidbits and such. All right, I'm filming with my younger sister's spare camera today because she's very, she's a photographer, basically. This is the thing I'm normally filming on to show you my knit. So this is an upgrade. I'll actually be able to check things on my phone if need be, instead of having to use my laptop. But I do have my laptop here in front of me as well. Anyway, today we have a few things to talk about. I have one finished object, which is also what I'm wearing. And I have 3 active whips, a little update on my upcoming plans for my upcoming cast-ons, and some acquisitions. Now I know, okay, those of you that have seen my stash busting inventory video, which went like completely viral, I mean, for me, it's had like 4,000 views and I've gained like 200 followers in the last few days. So if you're new here from that, thank you so much for subscribing, and I am so happy to have you here. I cannot wait to show you my stash busting progress as the year goes on. Oh my god. Can you see that? Oh my god. Yikes. 5.3 thousand views on that video. That is incredible. I'm so happy that you all liked it so much, and hopefully at least a few of you are also watching this podcast video. So I figured let's just jump right into what I am wearing today. If you've been here on the channel before, you've seen this as a whip, and then I said that hopefully I would be able to show you the progress of it on the next time I showed you. But this is finished. So I'm going to take it off so that you can see properly. This is my cloud sweater by PetiteKnit. It's finished! Ah! So I hit gauge with the pattern, and I've knit size 7, which is 5, 6, 7, the 2XL, which gives me this sort of oversized, a little bit baggy, but still not too gigantic jumper. So basically, this is a drop sleeve in the round, oversized jumper. And it has short rows here in the back. So you cast on for the back, you knit back and forth to do some short rows, and then you leave the back stitches on hold. You pick up each shoulder and you knit shoulder flaps, and then connect them here in the front, and you knit until you get to the point where you split for sleeves. And that was pretty much where you last saw this jumper. It's a very good, versatile, basic jumper pattern that you can then build onto if you want. Now for my modifications, because I did do a few. For the main sweater, I just followed the instructions straight off. But for the sleeves, I decided to end the sleeves a bit earlier and instead do a 2x2 rib on the cuff, because in the pattern you just do like 4 rows of 1x1 rib, and then you knit in stockinette a few rounds, and then you do a rolled edge. But I just really like the look of this chunky, broad 2x2 rib. And then as well for the bottom hem, I did 2x2 rib, and I also split the hem. and did the back ribbing a little bit longer. So this front 2x2 rib section is 20 rows and the back section is 30 rows. And that just gives this sort of nice elongated back to it, which I really like. So for the neckline, the pattern calls for a mock neck in stockinette with a rolled edge. However, I chose to do 1x1 rib and then I bound off. I wish that this was sort of a bit snugger or like a bit more tight in the ribbing, you know what I mean? So I have actually not woven in all of the ends yet for the collar, and I'm considering actually taking the collar out and re-knitting it so that it fits the way I want it to fit. But we shall see, because for now it is an actual winter wonderland in Sweden. And, you know, it's snowing, it's cold. It was minus 21 degrees Celsius this weekend, which is insane. We don't usually get that cold here where I live in Sweden. What I mean to say is that I want to wear this at the moment. I don't want to sort of fiddle around with it, and that means that I also haven't blocked it yet. But honestly, I don't think that blocking is going to change this overly much. It might be a little bit longer with blocking, which I don't mind, because, you know, I actually wouldn't mind if the sleeves were sort of here. Now they're here, like if I use my arms, you know. Sort of like the edges between the stockinette and the ribbing, those could be a bit neater, so that will even out with blocking as well. And, you know, also with blocking, I can sort of manipulate the ribbing a bit to get the look that I want on it. I love this so much. All right, what have we? I need to tell you about the yarn. So here's my gauge swatch that I did a few months ago. And this is what I have left. This is, I believe, about 15 grams or maybe 16 grams. So this is less than half of a ball. And I'm actually considering this to be sort of mending or modification yarn. So I'm not going to count this as scrap yarn. I'm going to count this as all used up, because I want to keep this specifically for if I choose to do something different with the neckline or anything like that, mending in the future. So I'm not going to put this back into my stash on Ravelry. So yeah, I'm just going to keep this for mending and such. This is Softest Alpaca by Mode at Rowan. It is 70% alpaca, 7% wool and 23% recycled nylon. It is 130 meters per 50 grams, and this is the colorway 19, which is called Bliss. The recommended needle size is 5.5 millimeters, but I used 4.5 for this, which is what PetiteKnit has in her pattern as well. And I found that perfectly fine. So I think because this is a blown yarn, it's sort of quite forgiving with gauge, because, I mean, I can show you the swatch. This is using 3 different needles. So this is using 4.5, 5 and 5.5 millimeters. And as you can see, they all look quite similar and they all look very nice. So I think this yarn is absolutely lovely. It is not itchy. I can feel it if I don't have, you know, long sleeves underneath or anything, but it's not like toothy, you know what I mean? So I definitely find this next to skin friendly. I've even worn this with only, you know, a sports bra underneath, and that's been completely fine. So yeah, the cloud sweater in Softest Alpaca by Mode at Rowan in this beautiful sort of wintry sky blue. I was hoping to get outside and film a little bit and take some pictures of this in the snow with the blue sky, because we had really lovely weather, but it was just so cold that once my sister was available to help me do that, I just didn't want to go outside. It was too cold. I didn't want to do it, so sorry guys. There are limits to what I'm willing to do for this YouTube channel, and going outside in like -20 more than necessary to take photos is not one of those things that I will do. So anyway, I'm calling it my cloudless sky sweater because it is the cloud sweater, but it looks like a cloudless winter sky. So there's the logic. Anyway, I think maybe that was all I wanted to say about this finished object. I am very happy with this pattern. PetiteKnit does have, in general, very high quality patterns. They are not super beginner friendly all the time because she's not going to hold your hand necessarily, but they are very, you know, they are well edited. They are high quality. They create a high quality jumper without it being too complicated, and they leave a lot of space for modifications for those who are a bit more experienced. So anyway, I digress. Let's move on from that. But anyway, this is the cloud sweater in Softest Alpaca by Rowan in the colour 19 Bliss. Let's move on to my works in progress. As a surprise to absolutely no one, here it comes. You've already seen her, you love her, you can't wait to see her finished. Same. So this is my work in progress of the Ginger Zip by Joan. Oh, it's looking a bit washed out, you guys. Ah, look at this! Oh. All right, so this is a bottom up cabled quarter zip jumper. So this is what she looks like at the moment, and it's this really gorgeous cable jumper with, if I hold it upside down you can sort of see a bit better. But if I show you on the back side, it's got 2x2 rib all around the sides, and then on the back panel as well as the front panel it's got this section of repeating cables, and I love this cable pattern. It's a very easy repeat, but you do have to keep track of where you are. So I have this row counter made out of friendship bracelet materials after the Eras tour, just to help me keep track of what round I'm on, basically, because I do sort of have to keep track, like, oh wait, am I on 3, 5 or 7 at the moment, you know? But yeah, anyway, so it's knit bottom up. So I started at the bottom with 1x1 rib, and then you start the cable pattern, and then you just knit all the way up to where you split for the sleeves, which I've done a couple of days ago, and then I knit the right front and the left front up to where I sort of anticipate that they're going to be at the shoulders. And then now I am currently knitting on the back panel to the desired length. And then I'm going to seam the shoulders and the back together like so, and it will create a jumper. Now obviously the back isn't long enough yet, but you can sort of see the vision, and then that will leave a neck opening. This is really difficult to show because it doesn't have shoulders to hang on a hanger, but it's going to be like this, and then here you knit the collar and then you attach a zipper. Now let's talk about the pattern a bit before I talk about my modifications. So like I said, this is the Ginger Zip by Joan. It uses 5mm and 4mm needles. However, I'm using 4.5 for the body and 4 for the ribbing. And I am knitting size also 7, I believe. So this is knit up in a worsted, and I'll talk about the yarn that I'm using in a moment if you don't already know. But I figured I want to talk about the modifications that I've done first. So if I pull this up on my phone, here, we can see that the upper part where you split for the zipper and then you knit up to the collar is just 1 by 1 rib. However, I didn't love the look of that in some of the projects on Ravelry. I love it in the pattern photos, but I just think that that might be dependent on the yarn, how nice that looks, because I'm not really a 1 by 1 rib girl, you know, like it's not my favorite thing. So I just knew that I wanted a collar that was just a little bit chunkier. So then I've seen this one before. Other people obviously have knit the Dagmar zipper from PetiteKnit, and here you can see that once you split for the zipper, if you can see here, the cables sort of continue up here, and then where the zipper sits is a double knit button band. And I really, really like the look of that. So I decided to try to sort of fudge that with the cable pattern on the Genser zip. So instead of just, you know, switching to 1 by 1 rib here once you split for the zipper, I decided to cast off a few more stitches to make a wider gap here. And then I've continued the cable pattern up the sides, and I did have to sort of fudge a few numbers and mess around with the decreases and such, but honestly I think it turned out quite nicely. And then I will be able to pick up all the way around here on the zipper opening and double knit a button band or zipper band, basically, where I can slot the zipper in and sew it into place. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But yeah. So the Ginger Zip by Joan is knit in Tweed Recycled from Sandnes Garn. It is 100% recycled yarn. It is 80% extra fine wool and 20% cashmere, and it is 175 meters per 50 grams. And the recommended needle size is 3.5 or 4. I'm using 4.5 for this. And it's in this really, really lovely burgundy wine red colour, and it's colour number 4085. And it is beautiful. I've talked about this many times now, and you've seen it in different lighting, but this colour is so difficult to catch on camera. So currently I've used about 4.5 balls of yarn for my work in progress, because this is my current working yarn, and I have these 4 left. So I'm a bit nervous, but I have a contingency plan, so don't worry. Anyway, this is my favourite yarn at the moment. However, it is discontinued, which is very, very, very sad. But it is so nice and tweedy and soft, and it smells really nice and it feels really nice on the skin. So I just really cannot wait to finish this, block it quite aggressively to get the ribbing and the cables to relax and open up, and then wear it. So the Ginger Zip by Joan. Right, that was work in progress number 1. Now let's talk about my travel project. So in this little project bag, we have my on-the-go project, which is a pair of socks. So here they are. I'm knitting them toe up, 2 at a time on Magic Loop. And I am following the pattern that's called Perfect Fit Toe Up Socks with a Faux Heel Flap by Liat Gat. And it's just basically like a cuff down heel flap and gusset construction, but from the toe up, and you do sort of a gusset and heel flap incorporated into the heel construction with increases and decreases, but you don't actually have to pick up stitches around the heel flap like you have to do with a cuff down sock, which I've done before. So I'm really liking this pattern so far. and it is also a free pattern. You do have to register on their website on Knit Freedom to get access to it, but you then get a PDF once you do that, so it is free. I haven't gotten very far. I've just started on the foot of the sock, so I've done the toe increases and I'm now on the foot of the socks. Now, the modification that I have decided to do for this came about because of my previous socks. I've noticed that they are not super comfortable to walk around in, especially when I have my boots on. I wear my Blundstone boots pretty much everywhere all the time, and I just realised that when I wear my knitted socks, I can feel the pearl bumps on the bottom of my feet, and it sort of annoys me a little bit because I am quite sensitive. And so I did some digging and I thought, like, surely there's a way to combat this. Surely you could just maybe knit the sole in reverse stockinette so that you get the knit stitches along the foot. And apparently this is a thing, and it's called a princess sole. So for sensitive little princess feet like mine. So obviously I decided to do that. So the top part is just stockinette, and then the sole will be in reverse stockinette. So here you see the pearl bumps. So the toe I just did normally because whatever, but here where I will put more of the weight of my foot on the sock, I've done reverse stockinette. So here you can see the knit stitches on the inside. It is a bit tricky to show you, but hopefully you can see what I mean. And this will also be much clearer once I get a bit further on the socks. So the yarn that I'm using for these socks, is this gorgeous Glittersock by Underbart Garn in Kalmar. It is a one-of-a-kind colourway, and it's this really nice mixture of different purples, sort of lavenders, some deep indigo purples. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then it's also got a little bit of gold stellina in it, which gives it the sparkle that you might have seen. So yeah, this is just my work in progress. I'm just going to keep on working on this whenever I am out and about, and we'll see when they get finished. I'm not really in a rush. Now for my final work in progress. I love this one. I love this one, you guys. So this yarn I bought at a wool festival, and she hand dyes it on her own in small batches, and it is 50% non-superwash merino and 50% silk. It is so beautiful. It's got these gorgeous colour variations. I'm not sure that it will show up, but maybe you can see here you've got some darker pieces, some lighter pieces. It's looking quite sort of beigey on camera, but it is very rosy pink, beautiful. I knew sort of what I wanted to do with this, but I hadn't decided exactly what pattern. However, I did decide to go with the one that I initially thought I wanted to do. So this is my work in progress of the Sand Island Cowl by Fiber of Maine. Oh, it's so cute. So this is how far I've gotten. It looks very small because it's bunched up on my short cable, but this is how far I've gotten. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4.5 of the repeats, and I think I'm going to do like maybe 20 or maybe a bit less. We'll see how much I can get and how much yarn I have left once I get to sort of like a good amount. But as you can see in the picture, it's sort of like bunchy and big, and I really want that. So I started this just a few days ago, and I've just been working along on it, and it has gone so fast. It is... It's so fun to knit. It is very mindless, and once you understand how the pattern works, you really can just do it mindlessly. So let's see if I can zoom in a bit. So here, even though you can't see the colour, you can see that it is slightly tonal. You've got these little variegated darker bits, and I mean, you can really see the sheen on this as well. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is so soft. I can't wait to wear this. It is just so beautiful. And then attached to it, I've got this gorgeous stitch marker from Ari Yarns. It's so cute. Yeah. It's basically a 2-row repeat. I'm loving working this up. I want to work on this all the time. I don't want to put it down. So this has been getting a lot of love the last few days over my ginger zip. So anyway, I highly recommend this pattern. It is so fun to work up and it looks really, really nice, and I can definitely see myself knitting more of these in the future. All right, we are back, baby. The camera died. So that's on me for talking too slowly. Anyway, hopefully we are now back and you can still see me. It is getting very dark outside, but that's all right. So I went and got a refill on my tea. Now let's continue with what I was talking about. So I'm not exactly sure where I was, but we were talking about the Sand Island Cowl by Fiber of Maine that I'm knitting in this silk merino from Linda Fridholm at Handgjord Lyx that I bought at a Swedish wool festival earlier last year. And yeah, I think that's where we were. So that was all of my works in progress. Now for my plan for my next cast on. I talked about this in a previous episode where I showed off my alpaca cone. This is 11 kilometers of alpaca, by the way. This is almost a kilo of alpaca. So yeah, lace weight. This is thread. Oh my god. Anyway, so I got this as an industry surplus, and then I also got these merino balls, which are 100 grams of 11/2 merino. So I'm guessing that says something about the thickness. So it is quite thin. I would say it's maybe a light fingering, perhaps, but together, if I hold one of these and 2 strands of this lace weight alpaca with some synthetic fibers in it as well for strength and stretch, but if I hold 2 strands of this with 1 strand of this, I do meet gauge for this project I'm now planning on casting on very, very soon. And here is the yarn all caked up. So this is 1 full skein of the 100% merino together with 2 strands of the alpaca lace, and it makes a cake this big. It is massive. And I've got quite a lot of the merino, so I'm quite confident that I will have enough for this jumper that I'm planning on making. And if you've been here before, you already know what I'm talking about. By the way, look at this yarn bowl. It's so pretty. My stepdad made this yarn bowl for me. He is a woodworker. So anyway, be jealous. But yeah, so if you've been here before, you know exactly what I'm planning on using this for, and that is in this book. So this pattern is not available online. You have to actually purchase this knitting magazine book from somewhere that sells it. And it's got lots of different patterns, not just this one. So I will probably at some point knit some of these other ones. I quite like the look of this chunky slip over as well, the Amy slip over. But the pattern that I am planning on making is the Loo sweater, or Loo Genser by Sandnes Garn. And it's this really nice sort of semi-oversized raglan with a sort of 2x2 rib mock neck that then goes into the raglan increases, and then you've also got a really big section of chunky rib at both the hem and the cuffs. So I'm planning on actually continuing the raglan rib detail down the sides of the jumper. I've seen some people do that in the Ravelry pages, so I am planning on doing that. So the pattern is in this, and I am going to start that once I finish my ginger zip. I am not allowing myself to cast this on before I've finished my ginger zip, because it is such a lovely sort of spring green, matcha, pistachio sort of green. Once I start this, I'm not going to want to knit on anything else. So I'm going to finish my ginger zip first, because I do want that finished. But this is caked up and ready for me, and in this yarn bowl, and just waiting and just taunting me so that I feel motivated to finish the ginger zip. And yeah, this is my next cast on. And obviously, if I finish either the socks or the Sand Island Cowl, I might cast on something else small, like an accessory, just because it's good to have a larger garment and an accessory on the go all the time. So yeah, that was my plan for these. And now let's talk about acquisitions. If you watched my stash busting inventory, you'll know that I have 23.1 kilograms of yarn. That means I have almost 500 balls of yarn. And right, so remember how I said I was a little bit worried that I won't have enough of the Tweed Recycled to finish the ginger zip? Because this is a discontinued yarn, and once it's gone, I was getting increasingly worried that I would get sort of to like the last sleeve and not have enough to finish it. That I would be so gutted. I would be absolutely heartbroken. So I went back to where I originally bought this, and they only had one left. So I was like, do I buy one? But that feels like I'm paying shipping to buy one skein. I'll just check if any other shop has them, either, you know, locally so that I can go get it, or in an online shop, and preferably in Sweden, or at least in the EU, because then I don't have to pay extra taxes and such. But I found a shop, a small yarn shop in Sweden that still had some in stash. So I know that this looks very big for some bonus skeins of the red Tweed Recycled, and that is because she also had some in a colour that I have looked everywhere for, and that's been sold out absolutely everywhere. Most places don't even have this as an option, not even as like a sold out option. So I had to. I had to, because this is discontinued, and I'm going to treasure this yarn until I find the perfect project. So I figured, let's open it together. And here we have the burgundy red. Now, I'm not sure that this is the same dye lot, but honestly, I don't mind. They look exactly the same. They are not the same dye lot, but I cannot tell the difference. I cannot tell the difference. I got 5 more balls of the red. So now I will have in total 14 balls to work this up, and that should definitely be more than enough. So here they are. The other colour that I got, and you're not going to be able to see this because it's dark, but I know that you can't really see the colour, but maybe if I use my phone, a little bit of a Casper moment, but do you see this navy blue? Yeah, that's sort of showing you. Oh my god, that is so beautiful. Yeah, see that? That is beautiful. Maybe you can sort of see like that. So anyway, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 10 skeins of this, which will be enough for sort of a raglan jumper or a cabled vest or something like that. And I might even have some leftovers of the other colours of Tweed Recycled that I could do something with. Like maybe I could do some colour work with this and have this as the main colour. But no matter what I do with it, I'm going to enjoy it very, very much. And I'm going to treasure these 10 skeins of the navy blue Tweed Recycled. And I'm so happy that I found these. And I'm not telling you where I got them because I am gatekeeping this shop. This is a small store in Sweden and I am gatekeeping her because I do not want anyone else to buy all of the Tweed Recycled. Normally I wouldn't be mean, but for this I will be mean. I will fight you. So anyway, that means that I am adding to my stash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 balls of Tweed Recycled in the blue colour, which is the colourway 5585, and then I am also adding 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 balls of the wine red purpley burgundy 4085 colourway. It's only a little bit. I already failed my low buy, you guys. This is 15 balls of yarn, but it is discontinued. So if I don't get it now, I might never be able to get it. And it's my favorite yarn. I love this yarn. So anyway, Sandnes Garn, if you've got a stash of this somewhere, you know, send it to this girl. So yeah, I'm adding, what's this, 50 grams? Yeah. God. 750 grams of yarn to my stash because of these. That's 3/4 of a kilo. So now I am closer to 24 kilos of yarn in my stash. A few days after my stash inventory, where I said low buy. Whoops. So I'm not going to edit my stash right now. I'm going to do that when I film my stash busting video. And I'm worried that the camera is going to die on the battery again. So I'm going to wrap it up for today. But let me know what you think of this gorgeous deep navy blue Tweed Recycled, and leave me some suggestions for what I could do with this. I am looking for something that's mainly stockinette. Colour work is okay, but mainly I want it to be this blue and I want it to be in mostly stockinette because I really want this yarn to shine. And also let me know what you think of this alpaca and merino that I'm going to do the Genser in. And let me know what you think about my whips. Tell me what you're knitting on at the moment. Have you gotten any nice yarns for Christmas? Or are you planning on doing sort of a stash down this year? If so, please film it and upload. It's so fun. It doesn't have to be like edited and stuff. You can just film, cut away the awkward bits that you don't like and post it. Like you don't even need a thumbnail, you know? And people really like it, apparently. So But anyway, let me know what you think, and also let me know if you would be interested in hearing sort of a little bit about other things regarding things other than knitting. So for example, if you want to hear anything about books that I'm reading at the moment, or if you want some more nature clips or some more sort of montage bits of me actually knitting in these knitting podcasts with some music over them or something, sort of like the vlog style that I did in Vlogmas. Yeah, just let me know what you think. Hello and welcome to Hello and welcome to Stitch Witch Lexi. Why did I choose such a difficult name tag? Stitch Witch Lexi. It's not easy to say, is it? Stitch Witch Lexi. Say that fast 10 times. Go. Anyway, okay. Because they are. Oh yeah, I blacked out my address, so can't stalk me. But oh, they look really nice together. Okay, no, don't get distracted, sorry. But yeah, that is